Everyone told Margaret that adopting two 150-pound giants was the worst decision of her life. But when she walked into Cloverfield Animal Shelter at 3 a.m., the night before they were scheduled to be separated forever, she discovered a secret those two dogs had been hiding for weeks. A secret that would turn one broken woman's empty house into something no one on her street will ever forget. Margaret's house didn't feel like a home anymore. After losing her dog of 12 years, the silence moved in like a permanent guest, sitting in every chair, filling every room, pressing against her chest each morning when she woke up to nothing. She spent 4 months telling herself the same thing: I can't do this again. I can't open that door and lose again. But grief has a funny way of exhausting even its own weight. And one October evening, Margaret found herself driving to Cloverfield Animal Shelter without fully knowing why. She walked past restless dogs, her eyes searching for something she couldn't name. Then she saw them. Behind the cold metal bars of 2 separate cages at the far end of the corridor, 2 enormous Neapolitan Mastiffs were straining their massive necks through the wire, licking each other's faces with a quiet desperation that stopped Margaret's feet completely. Their names were Bruno and Stella. Each weighed around 150 pounds, with skin that folded like velvet and eyes that held the particular sadness of creatures who had known better days. The shelter worker, a tired young man named Cooper, pulled Margaret aside and gave her the standard warning. Bruno and Stella had come from a commercial breeding operation 2 counties over. They were considered difficult to place, not because they were aggressive, but because they flatly refused to be separated. Every potential adopter had walked away. The shelter's protocol required them to be housed apart, and that separation, Cooper said quietly, was breaking them both. Margaret watched Stella's rib cage rise and fall with a long, shuddering sigh. She watched Bruno's low growl soften into a whimper the moment Stella looked at him. She stood there for a long time. Then she said, "I'll take both." Cooper blinked. "Ma'am, they're a lot of dog." "So was my last one," Margaret said, and she signed the papers. The next few days were a blur of oversized dog beds, industrial-strength leashes, and a food bill that made Margaret genuinely laugh for the first time in months. Bruno, it turned out, was deeply suspicious of the vacuum cleaner, a 150-pound animal flattening himself behind the couch at the sound of it, one enormous paw covering his face. Stella, meanwhile, had appointed herself official greeter of anyone who knocked on the door, sitting directly in front of it like a very large, very serious receptionist. Margaret started sleeping through the night again. She hadn't done that in 4 months. I see you haven't subscribed yet. Honestly, that stings a little. Stories like this one are exactly why this channel exists. Hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Pickup day arrived 3 mornings later. Margaret drove to Cloverfield with the back seat folded down and a nervousness in her stomach she couldn't shake. When she walked through the shelter doors, something was wrong. The usual noise, the barking, the echoing of hard floors, was gone. The front desk was empty. Then Cooper appeared from the back hallway, pale-faced, moving fast. "You need to come see something. Please don't be upset." Margaret followed him through a door she'd never been through before, into a private enclosure at the back of the building, and she stopped. Stella was on the floor, enormous and calm, surrounded by 8 tiny squirming puppies. She had been pregnant the entire time, a secret her massive frame and the chaos of intake paperwork had hidden completely. Cooper was still apologizing, his words tumbling over each other, but Margaret couldn't hear him. She was watching Bruno. He had positioned himself at the entrance of the enclosure, his great head turning slowly back and forth, his body completely still. He wasn't pacing, he wasn't anxious, he was on duty, as if he had been waiting his entire life for exactly this moment. Margaret sat down on the floor next to Stella. Stella put her enormous head in Margaret's lap. The puppies kept squirming. Some stories find you, Margaret thought. You don't find them. The drive home was slow and careful, every pothole feeling like a personal threat. Bruno rode in the back with Stella and the pups, his body curved around his family like a living wall. At one point, a truck pulled alongside them on the highway with a loud exhaust backfire. Bruno didn't flinch, he just pressed himself slightly closer to Stella. Margaret watched them in the rearview mirror and had to pull over for a minute. The first week was hard. 8 puppies is a lot of anything. Margaret slept in shifts, set alarms, learned things about newborn dog nutrition she never expected to know. There were moments of genuine panic, a puppy that wasn't nursing, a night Stella seemed feverish. Margaret called the vet at Hartwell Animal Clinic at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. Dr. Okonkwo talked her through it, calm and steady, and by morning, everything was fine. Bruno did not leave the nursery corner once, not for meals, not for walks. Margaret had to bring his foods in him. He accepted this arrangement as completely reasonable. The puppies grew, the neighborhood changed, not dramatically, but in the small ways that matter. Neighbors who had once crossed the street when they saw Bruno now stopped to ask how the puppies were doing. A woman 3 houses down adopted one. The family at the end of the block took 2. Stella and Bruno became, without any effort, the most recognized animals on the street. Margaret's house is not quiet anymore. It is full of the sound of large paws on hardwood, of Stella's heavy sighs, of Bruno stationed at the front door each night like a very committed security guard who never clocks out. The void Margaret had been living inside for 4 months, the one she was sure nothing would fill, is gone. Not because grief disappeared, but because life moved back in and claimed the space. She didn't rescue Bruno and Stella, they just both showed up at the same shelter on the same night, equally lost, equally ready. The ones who need saving the most have a way of finding each other. Bruno protected that family from the very first moment, without being asked, without being trained, without hesitation. So here's what I want to know. Do you think that's love or is it instinct? Can you even separate the two? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one.